Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of the Amigos, Everything Amiga podcast. I'm your buddy, your good pal, your bosom companion, Amigo Aaron.
And I'm the other guy.
Well, it's, normally I'm joined by John Boat of Carshaller, but this week, Boat is on vacation, and so...
A well-earned vacation,
That's right.
Add.
We asked ourselves, what do you do to replace the human boat? The answer? You get the human anchor. And I give you the man who's been weighing me down for decades, the Brent.
Yeah, 40 of them.
That's right, and he's going to be filling in for Boat this week. What's it like to be back in the big chair?
Like I said before, the main event, I finally made it. I clawed my way back up.
Yeah.
All I had to do was eliminate the competition.
Oh, so you're the one that gave Boat heat stroke.
That's it. I knew he would have gotten sick on vacation. It's the Boat way.
Well done. Yes, Boat's out in Arizona now, the arid deserts of Arizona, and of course, being the logistical genius. I almost said linguistical, but he can speak a little pig Latin. But he picked the hottest time of the year to go to the hottest place on earth. And then he thought to himself, heck, let's go hiking.
Yeah.
And then he said, heck, let's go to the hospital for heat exhaustion. So Boat had a rough week.
To be fair, at least he did one before the other.
That's true.
If he would have just showed up to the hospital like, hey guys, I'm feeling great. Now let's go to the desert.
That's a valid point. Now, normally, the Brent, you are not a part of the Amiga scene, except when we cover that on ARG. So what was it like to step back into the comfortable slippers of the Commodore Amiga this week?
Well, I have nothing against the Amiga. You made it sound like I'm just like, oh, Amiga bad. Amiga's only sometimes bad when they try to make a console.
Well, that's... Listen, we're not going to fight you on that one. You got a valid point there. I did a lot of gussying up this week. I don't know if you look behind you here, but I've got all my cool Amiga crap out.
I can tell you polished the old dome for the show.
No, the dome is pre-polished, you jerk. I'm talking about the background.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all the cool stuff I got back there. I got it all powered up, fired up. So I got a lot of hot Amiga action in this week. There was some, I would say, slowish news this week. But before we get into the news, I want to talk about the forthcoming Amigathon.
Yes.
It will be happening, Brent. Just in a few, what's the date right there? July 24th, I believe.
Yes, and it is July 24th.
It will be starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be awesome. I think we'll have a good time. We're raising money again this year for the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals, Brent. Every red dime goes to the kids, and you can submit your cash donation today at amigathon.com. You can go ahead and get your donation right now, unless you just want to wait until the actual event. We've already raised, I think, over $1,100.
Yeah, more than a few pennies have already hit the website.
That's right.
Good to see.
We're going to have an excellent lineup of guests this year, Brent, on the show. We've got Kim Justice is going to be there. Control Reese is going to be there. Our good buddy Doug is going to be there. Dan and Ravi are going to be there, our good friends. We're going to have a bunch of fun guests. There's going to be cool prizes. And we're going to go play games and have a good time. Oh, Amiga Bill, I should mention, he's got a big game he's going to be doing on the show.
You've left out tons of people.
Oh, yeah. Who else you got? Who else is coming?
Me.
Oh, good Lord. No one else that's important. Once we do 12 hours of game time, we're switching over to the 12-hour of streamers time. They're going to keep the ball rolling. We've lined up some good streamers, too, some top-shelf streamers this year, including Rob Black O'Hara, Stevie Stroh from Coco Talk's going to take some time on it. Our good friend Mr. Cole is going to be there. From Wide World of Retro, David Z, the mysterious David Z, who has parrots and dogs and all kinds of crazy stuff in the background. It's always a good time with Dave. And just entering the fray, our good buddies over at the Teen Speaker Regulars have grabbed an hour. That ought to be interesting.
Absolutely. I think we might both try to sneak in on that.
Yeah, we might try to hop in on that. So it should be a good time. Again, coming up in just a couple Saturdays, Brent. It should be fun. please join us for Amigathon this year. Well, what do you say? You want to try looking at some news?
Let's do it.
Let's
news
give it a
us
shot,
up.
shall we? Let's do it.
I was just thinking, I wonder what's going on in the land of Amiga.
Well, allow me to hit the gamble train and show you. Woo!
Amiga News.
All right, we got some interesting tidbits coming in from our old buddies in the Discord this week. There wasn't a ton of news, but I wanted to touch on a couple things that happened. And right out of the gate, let's talk about changes in the staff on the Apollo team, the Apollo guys that do the vampire cards, amongst others. They announced that Igor Masterclass, and I've heard Igor, so I never have gotten his name right. He's one of the big developers over there, developer of the Amiga, the Vampire Accelerator boards. He's left the group.
Oh, no.
Left the group, Brent. That was surprising. And now I know Igor has been under the gun.
Right.
You know, and I think maybe he just had enough. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. It says here, despite his withdrawal, he will still assume warranties for the cards he sold.
Oh,
So,
that's good. At least
good.
he's planning on sticking with it like that. Yeah.
Now they also announced this is a little. That's a good question. Dave asked if they're dropping the Vampire. They don't know. I will say they announced a couple new products, and they announced the Apollo Firebird and the Apollo Ice Drake. I do notice that they don't say vampire in there. The Apollo Firebird for the 500, the 1000, 2000. This will fit the Amiga 1000, the Brent.
Excellent.
Listen to these specs. A 68080. That's not bad. 64-bit AMMX. 165 MIPS. What is it? The SADA chipset, 512 meg memory, 16-bit audio, an Ethernet port, USB joystick port, fast IDE ×2 SD card, and a real-time clock. Not bad. They've also announced the Apollo Ice Drake. Pretty cool. These are like D&D names. You know what I'm saying? So the Ice.
You have to slay them before you can order them.
The Ice Drake version 4 for the Amiga 1200. You've got 6880, 64-bit AMMX. Pretty much the same stats as the other thing.
Yeah.
And so this one has this will have all the same stuff. I like the idea of the Amiga 1000 version in particular of this. Now, one would wonder, since with Igor leaving the team, were these? Who knows? I'm interested what exactly these were. If there's been any changes.
When do you think these were put in the pipeline?
That's a good question.
Do you think it was before he left, or do you think it was? Well, we know he's leaving. He's going to announce it at such and such time. We need to get a product together to show that we're still in the market.
Yeah, I don't know. It says here the production should get underway Q4 of this year / Q1 of next year, and the Firebird will be available first, closely followed by the Ice Drake, and then the 4000 card is coming in the future. So they've got something else cooking for the 4000, Brent. So pretty interesting there. But you never know with those guys.
Yeah.
And of course these are there's always a controversy. I've never asked you this, Brent, because you're not an Amiga guy really. What do you think about putting a card in your Amiga that effectively takes over most of the systems, and and uses the Amiga basically for a keyboard and video out? I mean, are you cool with that, or do you think that takes away the retro aspects of it?
Well, here's the question: when you put one of these cards in, do you still consider it an Amiga?
That's what I'm asking you.
Oh no, I don't. No, I mean that's what I was asking you too. No, it's no longer an Amiga at that point. I mean, the whole how much do you have to change of something before it's not what it used to be?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to a computer, this is way over that line. So it's not. It's still cool. It's still fun to play with. It's still taking your old tech and merging it with your new tech. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But I'm saying it's not an Amiga anymore. It's become more than an Amiga, really.
I like stirring the pot on that occasion. I'm not gonna lie, because and especially I've never really talked to Brent about it. And so you've got different people think different things. I mean, really, my number one Amiga right now is the old Mister.
No, it's not.
Well, you're right. But that's what I use because it's convenient.
Well, that's
it always
fine.
works.
That's fine. But you don't say, "Here's my Amiga," and you put up a Mister. Come on.
Yeah,
that's insulting.
There you go. Okay, fair enough. Very strong feelings from someone that have an Amiga, by the way.
Aaron, I had the mother of all Amigas. Thank you very much.
I know. We should. That's a whole other show there. So anyway, interesting stuff there. Let's have a look here at the next story we've got here. Our good buddy Chris Edwards is running a Amiga 2.0 boot screen contest. He's actually been running this for a while, but he'd mentioned that he didn't get a ton of entries in this bad boy.
Shocking.
According to what he's got here, you can't exceed with your boot screen 1024 by 768 at 256 colors, aka 8-bit. The logo must say Amiga 2.0. And he's got a list of what it could have on it. The top list of these prizes. The top 3 winners receive a RPI 1400. That's the little Raspberry Pi built into the case thing.
Yeah.
128 gig micro SD and a copy of Amiga 2 early. A $100 value, it says. So if you are looking to get some sweet action from Chris Edwards, go ahead and throw him some love. I will say. Chris is a crazy man. I watch his stuff. He reminds me of a much more competent me, Brent.
Oh gosh, that might be dangerous.
And what I mean by that is he's loosey goosey. He doesn't exactly do everything by the rule book, if you know what I mean. But unlike me, he's way more knowledgeable and he gets stuff done. So there you go. So check him out. Check out his channel. Chris is a real good guy and a real big player in the Amiga community, and he knows his stuff. So throw him a bone on the old. And this is a good time to do some art, especially with 10 marks contest coming up. Why not make yourself a piece of art, and then you could double trouble it. Just slap the appropriate logos on it, send it over to Chris. Double pay window.
Wow. Now, see, do you think that's a little dishonest, though?
No, I think that's totally honest.
I don't know, man. I don't like using my creations for more than one project. I think it's dishonest.
Listen, Chris is in the house. Chris, admit as a total compliment, you're far more competent than me. Well done. Actually, a better way to put it is I'm a much more incompetent Chris. That'd be a more appropriate way to put it. So,
Chris, when you eat soup, do you dribble it down your chin?
Yeah, because I've got problems. So anyway, check him out. Always a good guy over there. He's a good guy. So let's enough news. I've had enough of the news, Brent. Let's get right into the main event here, shall we?
Who liked the news anyway? Stupid topic. Let's move on.
Exactly. Here we go with our game of the week, the Brent.
Oh my.
Now, let's talk about.
I get the chills just thinking about it.
Listen, can we not have a conniption fit here early? And let's try to keep it together. This week, myself and the Brent were tasked with looking at a game called Fly Harder.
Yes.
Now, this week, Brent, was the host picked the game week. Now,
I did not pick this.
No. And by the host, I mean the normal host, me and the Boat.
Oh.
And I, believe it or not, Boat was like, "Congratulations, Aaron, your game got chosen." I was like, "Great. What was it?" He said, "Fly Harder." I was like, "I don't know what that is." And so I had to actually sit down and play the game to remember what it was. And what it was a game that I had played on stream one time as I rambled through a big long list of games. And I thought to myself, this might be fun to cover. And so we are covering it. So Fly Harder released in '93. It came in two ways, really. You could get it at the 2-disc version, or you could get a CD32 version, which we'll cover here in a minute. The differences, which are practically zero. A one-player game developed by an outfit called Starbyte. I think these guys are out of Germany. I looked at it's funny. Me and Boat have ran into Starbyte in the past, but we ran into Starbyte as a publisher, I believe, and not as a developer. They did, because I didn't recognize any of these titles. They did a game called Adidas Tennis. They did a game called Black Gold, Texas Tea. They did a game called Rings of Medusa, Saracon, and Tiebreaker. These are all games that I don't know about. And all the fellows that worked on this have Germanish names. I'm pretty sure this got released early in Germany and got released to everyone else. Now, originally this was released for just your plain Jane ECS, OCS Amigas. This isn't an original Amiga game that actually got converted over to the C64. Those are the only 2 releases. And they're sort of totally kind of different, but sort of kind of the same, you know. So what you got here, Brent, in Fly Harder is one odd game. Now, you know, before we get into a game, we got to get in the plot, because you know I love these. And the plot for this one, you know, when you come across a game and the plot's like the Zorwakian Empire have taken over Crumbagia.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they took a random plot machine. This one is even more generic than that, if I may read. So the game starts off with these dates, and it says April the 6th, 2103. On its way from the Delta Tau galaxy back to Earth, the interstellar spaceship Errata enters the Zarquow zone, or system, where they had to replenish their water and food supplies. So you're on a spaceship called the Errata. That right there. The first time I read that,
no wonder I couldn't keep this ship up.
No kidding, it's the Errata. Listen, we're on that ship every week. I can tell you that right now. So then it says the Errata picks up some human settlers fleeing from Zarquow.
I hate it when the Zarquow attack. I hate it.
The settlers informed the captain that the Targoid insect people have installed... Listen, the Targoid are at it again. They've installed 8 powerful reactors in Zarquow's network of caverns to exploit the planet's supplies of energy and raw material. Furthermore, the Targoids have invented an intricate security system which makes it almost impossible for strangers to enter the cavern. Uh-oh. You know, they are insects. So, the last entry, April the 8th, 2103, Nokdar, captain of the Errata, because, of course, is it just me or does Nokdar, he's got to be wearing a loincloth, right? He's the captain of the Errata, because he sounds like he's in the wrong ship. He decides to take action. A hand-picked team consisting of the spaceship's 5 best pilots, that's a joke, is chosen to break through the security system and disable the reactors. Their mission is to find the hidden energy spears in the caverns and drop them on the reactors. This will cause the reactors to overload and thus destroy them. And with that, the game begins. So that is the backstory. That really is, I mean, I guess you sort of need to know that.
But you absolutely need to know that, but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, so let's talk about what you actually do in this game. They weren't kidding about this. You get 5 shuttles, which are these little ships, and your job in this game is actually pretty simple. You're on a pretty basic map in your spaceship, and you've got to go through the map, find a little metal pinball. So that's what it looks like.
Yep, a giant pinball.
That will basically attach to your ship, or will be gravitationally pulled toward your ship. How about that? And then all you got to do, simple, drag this pinball to the big glowing power spear. What was this thing? What was it they called? The energy spear. No, the reactor. You have to drop the energy spear in the reactor, and then that will make the reactor explode, and then you move on to the next level. You got to do this 8 times with a Brent.
Yes.
Now, but what?
Well, no. You have 8 levels.
That's right.
Okay, yes.
Now, Brent, tell the people, what's the gimmick of this game?
Okay, apparently the gravity is your worst enemy. And I don't mean like, oh no, there's a slight gravitational pull. No, this gravitational pull is the entire game. The enemies, inconsequential. The goal would be easy if you had any other mode of transportating these balls. The gravity, even though gravity is adjustable, you can actually set it to light, medium, or heavy, is the absolute biggest killer in this game. It continuously pulls your ship down, or sometimes up, or sometimes towards these little gravitational object things. And it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, did you play the CD32 version of this?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, I mean...
Why would anyone do that?
But I mean, because that's basically the same game.
Yeah, but I don't...
So I just want to mention that. I played both. But
I didn't feel dirty.
I played both, and they're very, very similar. Brent's not a big fan of the CD32. I guess you noticed that. He had a bad microchasm experience.
Oh my gosh, the game almost killed me.
But... So Brent sort of nailed the game on the head here with this. This game is like Thrust Or it's sort of like Lunar. If someone played Lunar Land and thought to themselves, let's mix in some blood money
All right, that's fair.
into this game. That'll spice things up. And by God, they weren't joking. It spices stuff up big time. You're perpetually being pulled down until except for the levels where you're being pulled up.
Well, no, you're not. No. See, you know what that tells me?
What?
You got off level 1.
No, I actually played all the levels. I cheated.
You coded it?
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Now, see, you cheated yourself.
Well, I mean, I had to see
because you always get pulled down.
No.
But there are objects that will pull you in a direction.
Right.
And if you shoot those objects, then normal gravity takes back over and it pulls you down.
That's still being pulled up.
But it's not gravity's fault. It's objects making gravity.
You're nitpicking.
No. That's important, and I'll tell you why later.
Well, no, we're not going to listen. So anyway, on the first level of this, it's very straightforward. I think you'll agree. Even the first level, and it's still hard, but the first level is very simple. You start off at the like on this very small map. You've got to kill 2 or 3 enemies. You see the pinball to your left. You go and grab it, and then you fly gingerly to the right, and you drop the pinball. You position your ship to where the pinball glides through.
That's lies.
The speed. No, that's exactly
you
what you do.
You don't gingerly do anything in this game.
Well, that's true. I'm trying to be polite to the game. Basically, the ball doesn't hook to your ship. Okay, the spear that you're picking up, you exert a gravitational pull over the ball. That's part of this game. They thought to themselves, this isn't difficult enough. Let's make this ball stay like 10 ship lengths away from you. And so the ball, if it hits anything, it explodes. If it hits a wall, it explodes. If it hits an enemy, it explodes.
Shot.
If it gets shot, it explodes. And so when you lose the ball, you've got to go back and pick up another one.
Yeah.
So that means no matter how far into the level you are, you've got to go pick up that next ball and go try again. So everything you do in this game takes multiple chances. What did you think, Brent, before we get into the, really killing the gameplay here, what did you think of the overall presentation, the music, the graphical offering here? What did it do for you? Did you like it?
Fantastic.
Yeah. The
music is great. The sound effects are okay. They didn't do a lot for sound effects, but they do have both. The graphics are colorful. They are smooth as absolute silk. The enemy variety is okay. I mean, the later levels have a few better enemies than the first level. The first level just has a few turrets and a few like orby guys that fly around and shoot. But they're all very well done. They're all very pretty and colorful, because this is a game you could really just throw the mud filter on, even though Amiga doesn't do that, and call it a day. And I think they went out of their way to make everything look like it's something. I don't think the atmospheres, I don't think the surrounding structures and stuff really would make sense. I'm not saying that, but they look pretty.
Yeah. Listen, the game is a looker. It's got beautiful like backgrounds. I mean, like deep backgrounds that set behind the actual gameplay that look real nice. Even the orbs they're mirrored, and they the big reactor. It looks really cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an excellent render of like a big cube. I noticed the ships in this that attack you are really well done.
Yeah.
They're not, like I mentioned that it was like Blood Money, but these ships are more intelligent than they are in Blood Money. And you could also adjust the how difficult the enemy or how aggressive they are.
Yes.
So that's, but I mean, I thought they did a good job on that. Your ship was cool looking, it's shiny. There's nice lighting effects in this. It's a real sharp game. The sound is okay. I mean, they needed more music, but the tune is good.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Also, something I love in this game is if an enemy fires and it hits another enemy, it still does damage. They can make each other explode. I love when games do that. It adds to the, I don't want to say realism, but it adds to the franticness of it all.
You can also get enemies to drive into the wall sometimes. Of course, you don't need their help doing that, because you can also drive into the wall as many times as you want. You've got, aside from the fact that you've got mounted enemy, or you've got enemies that are flying around, you've also got mounted like gun turrets. You've got a rail. These rail guns were brutal, weren't they?
Yeah.
The things that slide back and forth shooting. Now, The kicker is when you shoot one of these items, you can kill it, but it only goes away for a short amount of time. Then it comes back.
Yeah.
We should mention the hit detection in this game and how your armor and what works. So you've got a certain amount of damage you can take before you're destroyed. I would say it's a goodly amount, except for the fact that if you drive into like a solid object, it goes down in seconds.
Yeah.
It's quick.
Yeah.
And so you can get killed immediately. In fact, I'll get into some of the problems I had that were just basically, the game manufacturers are just sort of stupid on some stuff. You also have to watch your fuel. Now, on the earlier levels, I didn't where I got. This didn't come into play a whole lot, but the fuel is a big deal if you keep failing, which that did happen a lot. If the thing about this game, if you fail that often, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
So you probably won't need more fuel, but you also have to have fuel. So if you let's say you get the pinball all the way to the reactor, and right before you put it in there, the ball hits a wall, and you got to go all the way back. Then you got to start worrying about your fuel. And there are fuel markers that you can pick up. Now, to get these fuel markers, you basically have to almost touch down to get them. They're pretty low, but you have to go get them to fuel back up and then try it again. There are also various points in the game where you'll have like lasers to go through, like laser gates. These things flash like you wouldn't believe. They're real tough to deal with. That was one of my least favorite parts of the game, was trying to get through these stupid laser gates. I didn't like them a bit. But overall, in terms of the looks and the sound and the feel of the game, I thought it was all that stuff was great. Where this game falters is the actual control of the ship. Being that this is a game that's gravity-based, and has that same sort of thing going as a lunar lander, this makes the game exceptionally hard in terms of controlling your ship, because as you careen through the level, aside from the fact that you could hit other creatures and hit the walls and hit laser gates, you have to contend with knowing which way you need to thrust to go a certain way. And it makes it very difficult to navigate through the level without just straight up running the wall. Something else, if you get turned around and you're hitting that thrust, you're done. You're not, you're going to go. How many times that happened to you where you just flew into a wall and you were trying to regain control?
Well, I want to go through my piece when you finish up your stuff.
Okay, fair enough. The ability to option out some stuff, and we talked about this, you could turn sound effects and audio on and off to your leisure. They both play at the same time, which is nice. You can also change the gravity from heavy to medium to low, and you can also change the aggression of the enemies. Now, I eventually, once I found the options, I turned the enemy aggression off, and I turned the gravity to low. What that means is it doesn't have a heavy pull on you.
As heavy.
The flip side of that is the game. You could tell this game was designed for what they would consider the medium gravity. Okay, now here's why. Just right out of the gate on the second level, if you have messed around, if you've monkeyed with the gravity, the second level starts you above a laser gate. On normal mode, if you have normal mode on, you don't touch your joystick. You'll go right through the laser gate and not die. Okay, on any of the other modes, you'll instantly be killed if you try to go through it, because since the gravity's changed, you won't fall at the rate that they had planned on you going through, which leads me to believe that this was a late addition to the game where you can monkey with the gravity. And really, I found turning the gravity to make gravity easier didn't really help me perform any better. And especially if you've played for a good while on a certain gravity and you change it, it really screws you up.
Yeah.
It made it a lot harder. I will say turning off the enemy aggression does work, but the enemies generally aren't that bad. They're not It's mostly just hitting stuff and those stupid gates, and also keeping your ball from exploding. So what ends up happening is the game becomes very, very frustrating. It's a frustrating experience right out of the gate. And they really, with the exception, even the first level, it took me about 10 tries to try to get a handle on what I was doing. And once I got past the first level, I thought, there might be a game here. The second level was just way too difficult with the laser gate. The laser gate ruined this game for me because it's so hard to get through. You get so little time. And what you ultimately have to do is turn your ship around and shoot your thruster down to get through it real quick. And then you've got to spin the ship back around so you don't hit a wall or the floor under there. And there's all kinds of this sorts of thing all the way through it. And it just makes you want to quit. And so I did after a while. But I did manage to look at all the levels because the game has a password system for the levels. It's different on the CD32 than it is for the Amiga. That's due to the fact there's no keyboard, obviously. But it's basically the first 3 letters of the Amiga passwords will work on the CD32. And they work. I looked at the different levels. I looked at the ending. There's also the ability to have unlimited lives. I wish they'd had the ability to just, I don't know, turn off
collision detection.
Make you something vulnerable or something. That might have been kind of fun, you know. But it was. I think there was a lot of potential in this game that they dropped the ball on, man. And I have a feeling they got well into this game before they realized that this was going to be a problem. And I think they were probably past the point of no return. What are your thoughts, man?
I don't hate this game.
All right. That's a thought.
I know exactly what happened during development.
All right.
They played this game for a couple hours, and after you get through that initial "this game is impossible" segment of play, you start to get a feel for it. And once you get a feel for it, the game is almost not horrible. And what I mean by that is this game could have been more. The potential was there for this to be a lot more than what it was. Because at the end of the day, this is a thrust in a maze where you have to drag things behind you that your ship has a gravitational pull. And your ship, the way the silver balls attract to your ship is actually really cool. Because you can definitely fling them out and they just fly away and they're gone and you have to go pick up another one. So you have to be real careful when you're moving around. The first hour or so of play, I'm trying to think. I think I played this for about 2.5 hours before my mind turned to goo. The very first time I turned it on, because I skipped all the story stuff, I was like, what am I supposed to do? I didn't know about the silver balls. I didn't know about the blue balls. All I knew were there were enemies, and I had a ship, and I was trying to fly it around to find somewhere to go. And there is nowhere to go, so I killed all the enemies. All the enemies just respawn. I'm like, what is going on? And I just by happenstance, flew close enough to one of the silver balls to attract it to my ship, and it started following me. And from there, I kind of pieced together what was going on. In fact, the very first time I turned on this game, I had my controls set up, I plummeted to the ground and exploded. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So my next man comes up, and I'm like, okay. So I hit the thruster, and I thrust right into the ceiling. I'm like, okay, what is going on? The learning curve on this game is astronomical. It is absolutely astronomical. But if you can get past that, and it's going to take some people 30 minutes, it's going to take some people several hours. Once you get past that initial learning curve, the challenge of the game is actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
There's only 8 levels. I never made it past level 2. I got the ball. I was coming back down. I got killed by a laser a few times.
Yeah.
I was just like...
Did you turn off the laser gate when you were playing it?
Oh, shooting the little button?
Yeah, you have to, that's the key.
But it comes back on.
I mean, you can pass through those gates, but you have to be super fast.
Yeah.
And so that means you have to turn them off. Well, the problem is, much like the respawning of the enemies, they come back. It comes back on real quick. And so that's a bad element of the game. There should have been, what I would have liked to have seen is where you could just destroy one of the laser gate sides.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's how this game could have been made better. If you kill an enemy, it stays dead.
Yes.
And if you want it so it's still more frantic, there's still more going on, have respawn places for the enemies that would that you could destroy and stop. So you have enemies on the board, and that you kill them, and then you can kill the respawner, and that adds more targets, and it feels like you're accomplishing things, all right? Because you have the fuel gauge, which means you can't just fly around and kill everything and then do what you're supposed to do. You'll never have enough fuel. But if there's a tricky area and you want it, these enemies are really annoying, because some enemies just shoot off in every direction, and it's not one-hit kill, so you can take several shots. But some enemies, you want to clear them out of this area so you can focus on flying. That's fix number 1. Fix number 2, having the pull of the gravity the way that it is, the game is actually fatiguing. Having to readjust your ship and fly up a little bit, and then readjust your ship, fly up a little bit more, is very fatiguing. It is hard to play. You actually get tired playing the game. If they would have made the movement, and I know this kind of takes away from the game, of what the game, in the spirit of the game, but if they'd have made the movement more like Asteroids, where there is a way to stop your push, your inertia, or maybe have a special thing that you can only trigger once every 60 seconds or something, that stops your ship completely dead and gives you a chance to breathe. That would have been fix number 2. Fix number 3, the boards, especially later boards, although I did not get to experience in them the natural way of going through the things, and I'm sure I would have learned eventually how to get through stuff.
Yeah.
But the boards in the later level are huge. They're way, way too big for this type of game. I think if you would compress some of that down, instead of having 8 boards where the last 5 boards are gargantuan, have 16 boards. I think that would have been better. I think the first board's too small. I think the second board is
too hard.
Is right out of the gate. There. It looked like the third board, the size of that was about right. But I think this game had a lot of potential that it didn't live up to. I think it had all the pieces there, and I think that what really killed them was they got used to playing their game. So for them, flying around wasn't an issue. But when they give this to the general public, if someone sits down in front of this game for 5 minutes, they're going to hate it. If they sit down in front of this game for 30 minutes, they're going to hate it.
Yep.
If they give it 2 hours, 3 hours, which is a big commitment for when you're not having fun for 3 hours, just so you can start having fun. That's a tough sell.
Yeah.
That's a tough sell.
Yeah, and you really have to master the flight mechanics. Right? I mean, that's part of it. You just got to. And now this game has a few offerings, and we didn't touch on this, but we mentioned the laser gates. We mentioned stuff. There are buttons and levers hidden around. I wouldn't say hidden. They're in plain sight. That you shoot to cause things to happen. Things turn off. Things launch.
And all that's awesome.
It is. There's also I never got to this, but there are also power ups for your weapon, which I never got.
Yeah, but
but shooting stuff was never that huge
that was never
a deal.
The issue. Yeah.
What they need is a power up to make the ship less hard to drive. This game, I think I would have liked this game more if they'd taken the like you said, if you take the gravity out, I think it would have been more fun. But then again, you lose what makes the game sort of special. So and it's based around that. So it's a real strange. They almost got it. I mean, I agree with. I think well done. That was a well said thing. I agree with you. And this is a game where, and I looked at some of the reviews on Lemon when we're talking about this, and some people were like, "This is a 9 out of 10 game," and some people hated it.
Yeah.
And it was just I came down to simply some people had a better time mastering it than others, but it's a difficult game. It's too difficult. They screwed up, which is probably why we never heard this game. By the way, I don't want to go through this without mentioning that I think the name sucks.
Yes.
The name is horrible. They could have come up and their backstory is not good either. But if you're gonna have a backstory like that or a game like this, Fly Harder sounds like something like a jet plane game. You think of something like that, not a spaceship game like this. I think they named it very stupidly. I mentioned that this game got a release on the C64. I didn't play the C64, Brent. I don't know if you did or not.
Absolutely not.
But I've heard pretty good things about it. You can see it here if you're watching the stream. I like what the C64 did. When they put this together, they kept the what makes the game, and in terms of the thrusting. of the ship, the way it handles, and the way you move through the map. So it looks like a pretty good effort here. But I'll have to say that I would have to see how it played on the C64 to give a solid yay or nay on it, because if it played exactly like this, then you're probably going to have a problem.
Yeah.
But I think this is another, boy, how many times have we said this on this show? A missed opportunity to come up with something really awesome. It's sort of a shame. I did look some reviews up on this just to see how it scored on the charts here. So Lemon has the scored for both the. Oh, I should mention the CD32 versus this. I couldn't tell a difference except for the controls and the fact that you don't type on it. And otherwise, I don't think they did anything. Lemon gave the original version, this a 6.64. The AGA version actually got a lower score at a 6.10. I always love when that happens, where they actually can the bigger one. Amiga format. Now listen to these scores, by the way.
All right.
Amiga format gave this an 87%. Okay.
That's a little high.
Amiga Power gave this a 90%. Okay.
That's
the
high.
one. These are all British, gave it an 83%. Now, these are British magazines. They all sort of liked it.
Yeah. Oh, that's not sort of like it. That's a lot liking it.
I mentioned that this was released in Germany, all right? So the German magazines, you'd think to yourself, well, the German magazines probably are cool with it. Amiga Joker, renowned for, they love hate and hate everything else. They mounted the top rope and dropped the big elbow on this one, 34%.
No.
But not to be outdone, ASM, also a German magazine, their scoring system's out of 12, Brent. They gave this the big O.
No, see, that's ridiculous.
They said it was unplayable. So they absolutely killed this thing. Anyway, the average magazine rating, according to Lemon, was 74%. Now, we actually
and I think that's a little high.
We actually got some listener reviews of this thing, Brent, if you can believe it. I know. It's not like ARG at all. So, Barkbit chimes in. Fly Harder review. Call me crazy. Okay, you're crazy.
Boy.
But I think a computer game should be fun. Wow, I think I see where this is going. Starbyte apparently didn't get the memo or simply ignored it because Fly Harder's a mess. Controls are standard lunar lander / asteroids type, but work horribly thanks to the gravities, yes, there are several, that pull your ship in different directions, leaving you slamming into the walls, losing massive health. Not fun. You have insta-death lasers in your way that can be turned off at reset way too fast. Not fun. The enemies you encounter are hard to hit, hard to kill, and respawn way too fast, which makes the game not fun. And as if things weren't hard enough, you have to guide a fragile ball through this monstrosity. Not fun. The graphics are okay, but the music is forgettable, and the sound effects are suspiciously similar to other games of this era. I didn't have the time or the patience for games like this back in the day, and I sure as heck don't these days either. 2 out of 10.
Oh, harsh.
Barkbit dropping a hammer. Pixels at Dawn, our good buddy. There aren't many single-player thrust games on the Amiga. Thrust games on the Amiga. This one looks good, sounds good, music and sound effects. But there are just too many design decisions which stack the difficulty against you. You have to take out the enemies, but they respawn quickly. Picking up extra fuel requires you to go very close to the surface.
Yeah, forget about that.
It is so easy to get out of control, even on light gravity settings. Unlike standard thrust, where things you carry are attached to the ship, in this, the movement of the orbs is amplified by your momentum, which means moving at more than a snail's pace is a death sentence. I enjoyed playing this, but even with the infinite lives cheat turned on, I couldn't get past level 2. Welcome to the club. Despite knowing exactly what I needed to do. A missed opportunity, 3 out of 10 from Pixels at Dawn. Super Famous King chimes in. Lunar Lander clone on the Amiga. Yes, please. I've always enjoyed thrust-style games over the years, albeit in small doses, so Fly Harder was an exciting prospect for me this week. Upon playing, you can instantly tell that the inertia at play here is way too powerful, and that's before you even pick up fuel orbs in your beam. Once you do that, controlling your craft while trying to watch the fuel orb at the same time is next to impossible. I did have more success with the keyboard control, but respawning gun turrets and insta-death lasers continue to frustrate. I'm guessing this was a budget release. It's a simple gameplay of moving fuel cells from point A to B while shooting enemies and switches is all you do, and it isn't fleshed out in any way. The graphics are nice, plus it has both in-game and sound effects. I feel like if I stick with it, my skills could improve, and it does have that one more go feel to it. Overall, I actually don't mind Fly Harder in small doses. Anything more, however, and I can see broken joysticks and keyboards laying around my games room.
Yeah.
6 out of 10,
Whew.
Brent. 6 out of 10, not bad though. That's the best we can do on that one. One last bit of housekeeping on Fly Harder. I looked this up on the eBay, Brent.
I'm looking at it right now.
And you can get a complete in-box copy of this bad boy for $20. It's in Australia. Get ready to pay some shipping. $23.
Yep.
If you're in Italy, you can get $55. Could take it to the house. That's US dollars. And if you're in Germany, a place where this game is reviled, $65 their best offer, complete in-box. So they are out there as long as you don't live in the United States, because we get nothing. Nothing here. Any final thoughts on this particular effort, Brent?
No, I think I've said my piece.
I've
said my piece.
There you go. And with that, let's go over, Brent, and have a look at what's new on the YouTube site this week. Brent, here we go. Bam. It's like magic. So, right out of the gate, Brent, let's talk about what we did since we're here, because we're great.
I know what we did.
What did we do? Tell the people.
Actually, I can't remember.
You dipstick. We did a show on games parents hate. I know a kid parents hate. He's back there. So, this week we did games parents hate. Brent, tell them what you chose. He chose Donkey Konga. Donkey Konga.
I thought you were talking about this week.
No.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, why do you want me to announce what we played? We haven't done the show yet.
Quick, get Boat on the phone. For God's sakes. He's as dumb as he is stupid. Yes, Brent picked Donkey Konga, a game that includes actual bongos. Thank you, Brent. They're very good. I can see how that would be annoying. I went old school and just picked Splatterhouse, games that would make your parents want to kill you because it's so disgusting. This game is so hilariously stupid that it's appealing. I actually kind of liked it. The more I played it, the more I got into it. The plot of this is ludicrous, but I do like the fact that you play a steroided up serial killer who's actually a nice guy who put on the wrong mask that day. So there you go. But we had a good time on ARG this week. Now, speaking of me, Brent.
Do we have to?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Listen, a few weeks ago, I was feeling down and funky. And so, you know what that means. It's time to play some ZX Spectrum.
Oh, all right.
And play ZX Spectrum I did. In fact, we played a brand new game for the ZX Spectrum called Asteroids RX.
Ooh.
RX, Brent. This is a release where we actually had the fellow that made it in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
He was a real nice guy. And he has a great game here. And we'll get to it a little bit later, but this is actually on the high score challenge is Asteroids RX on the Spectrum. So that was a lot of fun. Then we went on to play a bunch of other Spectrum games, including, I almost had a conniption right there on the stream, Brent, when we were playing this god-awful cowboy game that I got screwed. I had to go all the way across the desert. I got attacked. They whittled me down. And then once I got to the town, as soon as I got to town, I was arrested and thrown in prison. I've never been so angry.
I think that sounds fair.
No, It wasn't fair. It was crap. It made me so mad. Anyway, if you want to see me get mad at the Spectrum and have a good time playing Spectrum, pop in, check that out. That was a fun stream that we did there. Next on the docket, holy smokes, the Brent. You know, I'm just looking. I skipped backwards a week. My bad on that, but that was a fun stream. Let's go back to our new R. Sinclair stream, and this time it's myself and the boat, Brent. And we were playing a little game called Heavy on the Magic. You ever played this one?
I've never heard of this one.
Me either. It's a crazy game where you are a mage. That look at the graphics on this, the Brent.
Yes.
They're quite remarkable, and what makes them real interesting.
Ooh, look at that animation.
Yeah, is the fact that this game is a text-based game. So you actually are typing in your text commands that are followed in that middle screen area, and then your guy carries out your commands on the big screen.
Could you make him dance?
No, you don't. Oh. It's not that. Fleshed out.
Choose the command.
Well, I mean, it's just like a
based.
text game. Look at
yeah,
that. Get that. That's what it is. This game was I like this game more than the boat. I'm not going to spoil the episode, but check it out. I thought this was a real unique game. I mean, this game won all kinds of awards, and you can see why, because the graphics on this were off the freaking charts.
Yeah,
man.
the animation is incredible.
Holy smokes, it was really good. So check out R. Sinclair as we look at Heavy on the magic. I can't say it like Boat. Boat says it like it's dirty when he says it.
On the magic.
Speaking of Boat was an active boy this week. He had some time before vacation, and so he got a little Pit Stop 2 action on the Color Computer 2. Brent, do you remember playing Pit Stop 2 on the Coco?
Oh man, you're throwing me way back. So no.
Yeah, well, we did play 2 players this back in the day.
I believe you.
This is Pit Stop 2 was a sort of a game that got ported to a lot of different machines, and Boat played it. We're going to be covering this in an upcoming episode of the Coco show. So check it out. You can just watch Boat play on there. No commentary on that one. Now, Boat did do a stream, Brent. He called it Hang Out with Boat. Good name.
Man, I'd like to hang Boat.
No, Hang Out with Boat.
Oh, okay.
He actually plays, amongst other things, he plays Exelon, which is a game we're going to be doing shortly for R. Sinclair. He plays quite a bit of that, actually. It's a good-looking game. He also plays a little more Pit Stop 2. He tries out a couple different Moon Patrols, which we're going to be playing in the future, which should be a lot of fun. Then, of course, you get to watch Boat play a round of golf on Neo Turf Masters, and Boat stinks up the joint, as I recall. I watched most of this, and it was a rough day on the greens for Boat. This guy was hamming and egging it.
On the green.
He said, well, he didn't hear that too much. If there's a little girl that screams in the rough, he would have heard her. Boat didn't like playing the golfer. This is some kind of tournament where you have to play the golfer of that or whatever land you're playing on the course. So
oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
He was stuck playing the Australian guy, unfortunately for him. So that's the way it goes. Brent, let's talk about our good buddy Jack Flack.
All right.
I caught this stream just the other night, and he's entitled this cleverly, Jack Spray Castle plays random games, Zoom floppy. And what he did here was he came into a big load of floppy disks. I think it was from a buddy. And so he would just go through, make sure they were going to work, and then just load crap that was on the disc.
Oh, that's good times.
Yeah, and
that's good times.
He played a bunch. This might be the longest stream that Flack ever did. But he played a bunch of games, some crap he'd never heard of, some crap that we all hated, like Transformers. He tried that. There were some demos mixed in here. Satan's Hollow, we both love that. He played Track and Field or Hyper Sports. I think that was Hyper Sports there. So a lot of stuff. And like I said, some stuff he's never even played before and never even heard of.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jungle Hunt. Some of our favorites in here. Of course, Tetris. So good stuff. Donkey Kong clones. You can't get enough of that stuff. So if you want to hear Flack go to work on some C64, check this out. Always a good time. And this was a really good stream. I really had a good time with this one myself. So let's go over here to Jetpack. Holy smokes. What a game this is. This is our good buddy Hermsky playing some ZX Spectrum Jetpack, Jetpack Advanced, and Jetpack RX. Now, Jetpack RX, I believe, was done by the same fellow that did Asteroids RX, the new, it was a remake he did, and he mentioned that on stream. So I'm going to check this out. I have to see it. I have played Jetpack, and it's a great game.
Yeah.
Have you played that on?
Absolutely.
Have we played that on ARG? I can't remember.
I've played it. We haven't played it on. I don't think we've played it on a show.
Hermsky always does good stuff, and this looks like another winner. Listen, you can't go wrong with the Jetpack. I love that stuff. And I actually want to go back and watch the Jetpack RX part just to see what that looks like, because I don't have the copy of that. Lastly, on the docket, the Brent, and this is our good buddy, Frodo Winnell. The first year, and Brent, this should interest you, the first year of the Nintendo Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Now, did you have a Game Boy Color back in the day?
Nope. I went from Game Boy to Advance.
So you skipped over. What? Now, the Game Boy Color was mostly playing the regular Game Boy stuff with some stuff built specifically to give color. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, and so when you played a normal Game Boy game, it just showed up in the color of your choice? Is that the way that worked?
You would have palettes to choose from.
I see.
So you could turn the 3 shades of gray to 3 shades of blue or green or, whatever.
Now, as a kid...
Yes.
Which...
Yesterday.
It's hard to believe that actually happened. as a child,
All right.
pretend you had all the money you needed.
Nice.
Were you interested in upgrading to this thing, or did you not give any crap about it?
If money was no object, yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, it offers more than nothing. Also, it was a much sleeker package than the large brick of a Game Boy I had.
You know, I ended up with your Game Boy somewhere, I believe.
Oh, that's called theft.
No, I don't think that's what it was called. I think it was called, what happens when you stumble upon something that somebody's just forgot about? And it's
theft.
Oh, yeah.
That's
okay.
still theft.
There you go. Well, the Game Boy Color, I really have to say, I have hardly any experience with the Game Boy Color. So I'm going to check this out. It looks, hey, color is better than black and white. That's for darn sure. Frodo goes to work as always. I love Frodo's streams. Frodo always has a very diverse crowd, very chatty. Look at this, Mortal Kombat 4 for the Game Boy Color. Now I'm intrigued. How did that happen? 1997? What
Something.
Oh, by God, there it is. Something tells me this came straight from the deepest bowels of China. Yeah, that's right. Mitsuyama says, I'm just borrowing your Game Boy for a very long time. To be honest with you, I don't know where it's at, Mitsuyama, so I think I gave it back.
So that's called theft and then loss.
No, what? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Before we move on, I want to mention our good buddy, our sponsor, our good buddy at Retro Rewind, Frank. We would be much obliged if you would check out Frank's wares over at Retro Rewind. He's always got a lot of good stuff on tap. If you're into the Commodore line of computers, or just wacky stuff in general, stuff like chip straighteners, stuff like that, diagnostic tools, Frank's got you covered. He's located centrally, Brent, right here in North America.
Bam.
Which that's a big deal if you are used to ordering overseas. For the longest time, if you owned an Amiga in the States, if you owned an Amiga in the States, no one knew what that was, and you were screwed. But eventually, I don't care what Doug says, if you had one, you might as well have had a Moon Rock or God knows what. But eventually, when you decided it was time to upgrade that sucker, do some work on it, you were sending out checks to Europe. And take it from someone who knows, I've had stuff in the mail for like literally 4 or 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
And when I called them, they were like, I don't know. They don't know what's going on.
What are you going to do? Come get me?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to swim the ocean. So it's great to have someone who's reliable and located right here in North America.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it, man. So if you are interested in picking up some C64, C128, Amiga stuff, please, won't you try giving Frank a chance over at RetroRewind.ca? A good guy. Good old Frank. All right, Brent. We're going to try this next segment here. This is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I'm going to tell you that right now, but we're going to try it. We're not going to, normally when Boat's around, he'll do a little thing called the Patreon song.
Yes.
We're not going to do that. No. I can tell you that right now. But what I am going to do, Brent, is I'm going to attempt to read the Patreon list here, and then you can make comments as you wish.
Well, hold on. Let me get in position.
Yeah. What's that mean? That's a weird. Okay. So I'm just going to read these off.
What?
Would you shut up? I'm going to read these off in a record speed here, and we will see how we do. Now, these could be wrong or incorrect. They could be either one.
Wow. Wrong or incorrect. That's
we would
good.
like to
That's
thank
good.
our following good buddies, our good Patreon buddies. And these are in no particular order, I don't think. Maybe they are. I'm not even sure. So, let's start off with Chris Edwards, Mick Cheshires, Ramo K, Dave Zilly, David Terrence, Explorer, Benz, The Phantom Magnus,
Ooh.
Christian Russell,
Oh.
Seth Yates, Alistair Fiend, Thomas Main, Matt Holliday, George F. Rozansky, Matthew Mobleys, I hope I got that one right. That's a tough one to pronounce. Dave Caffrey, Crazy Loomis, Malcolm McDonald. Is that a singer?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Daniel Crabtree, Brian Payton, William Vintersgar, Anders, Captain Chaos.
No.
What?
Captain Chaos!
By the way, if you have a cool guy name and I'm not reading it, hopefully you know who you are, because this is what I've got. Alexander Volzhinik, Brock 101, I know him. Callie Jupiter, Richard P.S., Martin B., Quest for Retro, Ole Johnny Devick, Yingfei Eid, David Z., Maurice Van Trage, Mark Byland, Oil of Hope, Jonas Naylor, Ray Lane, Chartel, Paul Davies, Daniel James, Luke Hudson, Frodo and L, Craig Marshall, Alan Field, Bill Bassari, Jurgen, Mr. Cola, Alan Galloway, Bernard Lucas, Switch Page. It's loading. Here we go. Retro Jerry, Christian Giveslav, Datadog UK, Simon Lech, Captain Crispy, Kilobytes of Caffeine. By the way, Kilobytes of Caffeine, he's back up and running. Check out his stream over there. He's getting it together. He's already did a couple. He's done some stuff you'd like too, but check him out. Cowbird Boy, Michael Keith, Pack Billy, Russ Smith, Gary Heather, Dante, Tommy Sorella, David Pickford, Cameron Armstrong, Andy Jones, Lobsterminator, our good buddy Doug over at 10 Minute Amiga Retrocast. Check him out. He's great. Bernard Quinn, RMC, Neil, always great. Neil had a real good interview yesterday with one of the original makers of King's Quest, Brent.
That's awesome, but focus.
It was great. Sorry. Tim Drew, we love Tim over at, he's over at Pixelgaten.
That's the absolute opposite of focus.
I'm sorry. Daniel Williams, Simon Rose, Joseph Harrison, Kyle Eder, Jeff Dorsey, Jost 80, Matthew Larimore, as we like to call him, Evil Matt, Barkbit, Rolro, Andrew Monks, Joe the Zombie, Sean McRae, Leaf Kalan, John Cook, Level Lord, Kate Fox, Ricky DeRocher, Erland Dahl, Zakshog. Oof, that's tough. Stefan Sogard Mortensen, Michael Ryan, Ed Van Helen, Marco Bruno, Christopher Hassel, Mark Goodlin, The Amiga Show. Anthony Jarvis has got a great show over there. Adam Battersby, Darren Cole was brutal, the brutal one, Brutal Barracuda, Matt Soft. There's, whatever. I thought about it. Alan Kebab, Eric Sundstrom, Josh Nan, Tim, Tommy, Homerstadt, Jason Warren, Graham, W. Epke, Lane Denson, Rob Flack O'Hara, John Marshall from just down the street. He works in Hurricane now. Laurent Giroux, I almost mispronounced your name, Laurent. I've always said it about 1 million times. Eric Nelson from Pixelgaten. Mark McDonald, Gary Hucker, Adam Bradley, Chris Fools, Counting Virtual Sheep, Simon Pilgrim, Jonas Rulo, O'Brien's, Retro and Vintage, and of course, Killborn Barman. There you go, Brent.
Thank you. Now, Can you do it one more time, but all the names backwards?
Dave Velociraptor. There you go, Dave. Listen, Dave, I don't make the list. I just horribly mispronounce the list. So, Brent, any parting thoughts this week before we take this thing? Oh, there are parting thoughts. I know I forgot something. Let's talk about our contest that we've had going on. We've got a winner, Brent. We've got a winner chicken dinner.
Man, I'm a winner.
Not you. I'm a real winner.
Oh.
Congratulations to Xenon K9.
Ooh,
He took home the big money on Helter Skelter, and they'll be picking a new game very soon for the Amiga High Score Challenge. Now, if you're interested in the ZX Spectrum Challenge,
and I am,
well, the Asteroids that we spoke about earlier,
yes.
That's your big dog. This will be running until noon BST on Monday, July 19th.
Ooh.
All right, and if you're interested, they've got a version on the site that you can download, so everyone's in lockstep, because this game is kind of officially released, and so they're catching the new revisions as they go through.
Makes sense.
So, and I've just been informed that Slam Tilt is the next Amiga. Yes, the next Amiga high score game. I do like us. We've played Slam Tilt. Here's a little tidbit for you.
Oh.
If you're a person who doesn't have access to an Amiga, the company If you Google the company and then Amiga, you will get a listing to a website of the company. They make PC-based EXE files that will play these games, and they've got a tremendous one that is all the pinball games on the Amiga rolled into one big EXE file. You just run it, you pick the one you want, and you're in. So if you have if you just have a PC, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with that particular item. Now, Brent, since I noticed that you've got the gimmick pulled up here, why don't you say hello to all of our people that are currently in the chat? Who we got with us today?
Right now.
Just read it right down the line.
Yeah.
Get busy.
Duncan Styles.
Yeah.
Pixels. Amiga Live. I ain't reading all these.
You got to read every one.
No, I can't do it. I will read the ones I can pronounce. Barkbit. Bike me. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, bike me, buddy.
Yeah, I would like to hit you with a bike.
Bitstorm. Blop. Barack 101. Buck Owens. Christian Russell.
Well, it is.
Commander Root. Danvis Donuts. Dave Velociraptor. Del Morte 76. Demo Scene TV. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher this. Doodla Zoop Zab. Edvin. My dearest lovely wife. Fredo NL. Hermsky. It's their fine. Jason Warnes. El Curtis. Boyle. Mitsuyama. Octims. Oil of Hope. Paul Kitching. R-Typer.
Telephone.
Mystery text. I've missed my place. Ricky Roder. Robo Rara.
Are you turning into Scooby-Doo? Raggy?
Super Tech Boy. Tawama Zama. Me. V&K. Vizgaro Pro. Explorer. Z9K9. And the guy at the top I skipped. Eton.
There you go. Thank you for joining us, and I apologize for the Brent brutally mispronouncing your name, as I apologize for me brutally mispronouncing.
Aaron, this just in.
Yes.
You did not read the Twitch subscribers.
Well, yeah, you're right. And if you're a Twitch subscriber, we appreciate it. But I don't know how to get to the Twitch subscribers, so there you go. So that's the way it goes. But we do appreciate all our fine Twitch subscribers. Brent, any parting thoughts before we take this? We pilot this thing right into the. You knocked off your own mic, didn't you? Well, good. Then let me be the first to say that Brent's an idiot. There you go, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for the Amigos this week. Next week, Brent, you won't be here for it, but myself and the boat have been tasked with playing a game simply known as Goblins. Goblins. So next week will be Goblins. Please tune in, won't you? The boat will be back, and we will be back at full strength. No offense. Until next time. Adios.